A peaceful journey through Ancient Petra. A calming bedtime story in 5 chapters. Chapter 1. The Sick at Twilight. You find yourself standing at the entrance to something extraordinary. A narrow canyon carved deep into rose-colored sandstone, where time seems to slow and the world grows quiet around you. This is the Sick, the ancient pathway that has welcomed travelers for over 2,000 years, and tonight, it welcomes you. As you take your first gentle step into the canyon, the walls rise high above you, both sides. Their surface is smooth and curved by countless years of wind and water. The stone glows with the softest light, a warm amber that seems to come from within the rock itself. You pause, breathing deeply, feeling the cool air that flows through this sacred passage. The Sick stretches before you like a river of stone, winding gently through the earth. Each step you take echoes softly, a whisper that bounces from wall to wall before fading into the peaceful silence. Your footsteps create a rhythm, slow and steady, like a heartbeat, guiding you deeper into this ancient world. Above you, the sky has begun its evening transformation. The harsh light of day has given way to something softer, more forgiving. Twilight paints the narrow strip of sky in gentle purples and deep blues, while the first stars begin to appear, tiny points of silver that seem to bless your journey. You run your hand along the canyon wall as you walk, feeling the texture of the sandstone beneath your fingers. It is warm to the touch, holding the memory of the sun even as darkness approaches. The stone tells stories through its layers, bands of color that speak of ancient seas, of deserts that existed long before human memory, of a time when this land was something entirely different. The Sick embraces you as you move through its curves. Sometimes the walls draw close together, creating an intimate space where you can almost touch both sides with outstretched arms. Other times they pull apart, opening into wider chambers, where the sound of your breathing mingles with the gentle whisper of air moving through stone. Carved into the walls at eye level, you notice the ancient water channels, narrow grooves that once carried precious water through this desert passage. Even now, in the growing darkness, you can imagine the sound of flowing water, a gentle trickling that would have provided music for travelers of long ago. The channels run alongside your path, faithful companions that have guided countless footsteps through the centuries. As you continue deeper into the Sick, the twilight deepens around you. The walls seem to glow more brightly now, as if they are absorbing the last light of day and holding it, sharing it with you as you pass. You feel wonderfully small in this vast corridor of stone, yet perfectly safe, perfectly held by the ancient embrace of the canyon. The air grows cooler as night approaches, carrying with it the faint scent of desert sage and the clean smell of stone. You breathe it in slowly, letting it fill your lungs, calming your mind, preparing your heart for the wonders that lie ahead. Each breath connects you to this place, to the countless others who have walked this path before you. You notice how the shadows dance on the canyon walls, shifting and flowing as the last light of day plays across the stone. The patterns they create are hypnotic, ever-changing, like watching clouds drift across the sky, but slower, more deliberate, as if the very rocks are breathing with you. Somewhere in the distance, you hear the soft call of a nightbird, its voice echoing through the canyon, joining with your footsteps to create a gentle symphony. The sound reminds you that you are not alone in this place, that life continues here, quietly, peacefully, as it has for thousands of years. The Sikh curves gently to the left, then to the right, following the natural fractures in the stone that were widened over millennia by flowing water. You follow its lead, trusting in its ancient wisdom, knowing that every step brings you closer to something magnificent, something that has waited patiently for your arrival. As you walk, you begin to notice small details carved into the walls, worn smooth by time, but still visible to those who look closely. Here, the outline of a hand pressed into stone. There, the suggestion of a face, watching over the passage with kind eyes. These are the marks left by ancient people, blessing this path, making it sacred, making it safe for all who follow. The temperature continues to drop as night settles over the desert above. But here in the Sikh, you feel perfectly comfortable. The stone walls protect you from the wind, while their stored warmth creates a gentle cocoon around you. You pull your wrap a little closer, not from cold, but from the simple pleasure of feeling cozy and protected in this magical place. Your pace naturally slows as you move deeper into the canyon. There is no hurry here, no need to rush towards your destination. The Sikh teaches patience, teaches you to be present in each moment, to notice the way the light changes, the way the shadows shift, the way your own breathing creates a rhythm that matches the ancient pulse of this place. You pause for a moment, pressing your back against the canyon wall, looking up at the narrow strip of sky far above. The stars are brighter now, clearer in the pure desert air. They seem close enough to touch, close enough to whisper secrets to. You make a silent wish on the brightest star you can see, feeling the magic of the moment settle into your bones. The silence here is profound, not empty, but full, pregnant with possibility, with history, with the dreams of all who have passed this way. You become part of that silence, adding your own peaceful presence to the eternal quiet of the Sikh. You belong here, in this moment, in this place between the everyday world and something far more ancient and wise. As you begin walking again, you notice how the canyon seems to breathe around you, expanding and contracting, widening and narrowing, like the ribs of some great sleeping creature. You move with its rhythm, becoming part of its ancient dance, feeling your heart beat slow to match the timeless pulse of stone and starlight. The walls on either side of you rise so high that they seem to meet the sky, creating a natural cathedral where your footsteps become prayers, where your breathing becomes meditation, where the simple act of walking forward becomes a sacred journey. You are pilgrimage and pilgrim both, the seeker and the path, united in this moment of perfect peace. Ahead of you, the Sikh continues its gentle winding, disappearing around curves that promise new wonders, new moments of beauty, new opportunities to feel the deep peace that comes from connecting with something larger than yourself. You walk toward these promises, unhurried, unworried, completely present in the joy of the journey itself. The desert night settles more fully around you now, wrapping the world above in soft darkness, while here in the protected passage, the warm glow of the stone walls continues to light your way. You feel as though you are walking through liquid moonlight, through time itself, through a dream made manifest in sandstone and starlight. Your mind begins to quiet as you walk, the concerns of the day dissolving like morning mist, replaced by a profound sense of calm, of connection, of coming home to a place you have never been, but somehow always known. The sick welcomes you with every step, invites you deeper into its ancient embrace, deeper into the peace that waits at the heart of all sacred places. And so you continue, one gentle step after another, through the canyon that time carved with infinite patience, toward wonders that await in the silver darkness ahead, knowing that this journey, this moment, this perfect peace, is exactly where you belong. The sick holds you in its stone embrace, and you surrender to its timeless wisdom, letting it carry you forward, into the heart of mystery, into the soul of peace, into dreams made of moonlight and ancient stone. Chapter 2. The Treasury in Moonlight. As you round the final curve of the sick, something extraordinary begins to reveal itself. Through the narrow opening between the canyon walls, you catch your first glimpse of carved stone, of columns and cornices, of something that takes your breath away. The treasury, Al-Khazar, emerges before you like a vision, like a dream carved from living rock. You pause at the mouth of the sick, your feet stopping of their own accord, as the full majesty of the treasury unfolds before your eyes. The facade rises from the desert floor like a symphony frozen in stone, each column perfectly proportioned, each detail lovingly carved by hands that worked with devotion and skill. In the silver light of the full moon above, the treasury glows with an ethereal beauty that seems to come from another world. The moonlight transforms the rose-colored sandstone into something magical. The familiar warm tones of day have given way to cool silvers and deep purples, creating shadows that dance across the carved surface, bringing the ancient figures to life. You can almost see them moving. The gods and goddesses, the guardians and guides, all watching over this sacred space with timeless benevolence. You step forward into the circular plaza that surrounds the treasury, your footsteps soft on the sand that has accumulated here over centuries. The space feels vast after the intimate embrace of the sick, yet perfectly proportioned, as if the ancient architects understood exactly how to make visitors feel both humbled and welcomed, both small in the face of greatness and perfectly at home. The treasury stands 2 stories tall, its facade a masterpiece of Nabatean architecture. The lower level features 6 massive columns, each one carved from the living rock of the cliff face, supporting an entablature decorated with intricate friezes. You move closer, drawn by the beauty of the craftsmanship, by the way the moonlight reveals details that might be missed in the harsh light of day. Above the columns, the 2nd story rises like a crown, its central tholo surrounded by half pediments, and topped with a magnificent urn that has inspired legends for generations. Local Bedouin stories tell of treasures hidden within that urn, of gold and jewels placed there by ancient kings. But you know that the real treasure is what you see before you. This perfect marriage of human creativity and natural beauty. You find a comfortable place to sit on a low stone wall, one of the ancient foundations that still dot the plaza. From here, you can take in the full glory of the treasury at your leisure. The moonlight continues its slow dance across the facade, revealing new details with each passing moment. Here, the figure of a dancing goddess, her robes flowing in carved stone. There, the fierce visage of a guardian, protecting the sacred space with eternal vigilance. The silence here is different from the sick, more open, filled with the whisper of night breezes that carry the scent of desert flowers and ancient stone. Somewhere in the darkness, an owl calls softly, its voice echoing off the cliff faces that surround the plaza. The sound is comforting, a reminder that this place is alive, that it continues to shelter and nurture life as it has for thousands of years. As you sit in contemplation, you begin to notice the smaller details that make the treasury so remarkable. The way the carved drapery seems to flutter in an unfelt breeze. The expressions on the faces of the figures, serene and knowing, as if they hold secrets that transcend time. The perfect symmetry of the design, creating a sense of harmony that speaks directly to the soul. You close your eyes for a moment, listening to the gentle sounds of the desert night. When you open them again, the treasury seems to have grown even more beautiful, as if your brief rest has allowed your eyes to see it with fresh wonder. The moonlight has shifted slightly, creating new patterns of light and shadow, new perspectives on this ancient masterpiece. Rising to your feet, you begin to walk slowly around the plaza, viewing the treasury from different angles. Each perspective reveals new beauties, new harmonies of proportion and design. From the left, the interplay of columns and pediments creates a rhythm like music made visible. From the right, the carved figures seem to lean forward, as if eager to share their ancient wisdom. You approach the treasury directly, walking up the broad steps that lead to its entrance. The doorway yawns dark and mysterious before you, but tonight you do not need to enter. The real magic is here, in this moment, under the silver light of the moon, surrounded by the peaceful energy of centuries of reverence and wonder. Placing your hand on one of the massive columns, you feel the texture of the sandstone, worn smooth in places by countless other hands. Other pilgrims who have stood where you stand now, marveling at the same beauty, feeling the same sense of connection to something greater than themselves. You add your touch to theirs, becoming part of the long chain of wonder that stretches back through time. The carved details continue to reveal themselves as you explore. Water spouts shaped like lions' heads, their mouths open as if roaring silently at the moon. Acanthus leaves that curl and spiral with perfect naturalism. Geometric patterns that speak of mathematical precision and artistic vision working in perfect harmony. Each element contributes to the overall effect, creating a whole that is far greater than the sum of its parts. You make your way back to your sitting place, settling once again on the ancient stone. The treasury rises before you like a guardian of dreams, its presence both commanding and comforting. In the moonlight, it seems less like something built by human hands and more like a natural wonder, as if the cliff face had always been waiting to reveal this perfect form hidden within its stone heart. The night air moves gently around you, stirring the sand at your feet, carrying with it the whispered stories of all who have gazed upon this wonder. Merchants and pilgrims, kings and commoners, each one adding their amazement to the eternal song of praise that surrounds the treasury. You feel yourself becoming part of that chorus, your silent appreciation joining with theirs across the centuries. Above, the moon continues its slow journey across the star-filled sky, its light painting the treasury in ever-changing hues. Now silver white, now pale gold, now deep blue in the shadows. The facade becomes a canvas for the night, displaying the artistry of both human hands and divine inspiration. You could sit here forever, watching this slow dance of light and stone, never tiring of its beauty. As the night deepens, you notice how the treasury seems to glow from within, as if the sandstone itself has absorbed and is now reflecting back all the wonder, all the reverence, all the love that has been directed toward it over the millennia. It stands as a testament to human creativity, to the desire to create something beautiful, something lasting, something that speaks to the divine spark within every soul. The plaza around you is completely still now, the sand undisturbed except for your own gentle footprints. You feel as though you have stepped outside of time, into a moment that exists in perfect suspension, where past and present merge into a single eternal now. The treasury watches over this timeless space, a guardian of peace, a keeper of dreams. You lean back against the stone wall, tilting your face up toward the star-filled sky. The constellations wheel overhead in their ancient patterns, the same stars that shone down on the builders of this wonder, the same moon that has illuminated countless pilgrimages to this sacred place. You feel the deep continuity of human experience, the way beauty calls to beauty across all boundaries of time and culture. The treasury continues to work its gentle magic, drawing your breathing deeper, slowing your heartbeat, filling your mind with peace. It stands as proof that humans can create paradise on earth, that vision and skill and dedication can transform raw stone into something that lifts the spirit and quiets the soul. You are witnessing not just architecture, but prayer made manifest, devotion carved in stone. And so you rest in this sacred space, surrounded by beauty, bathed in moonlight, held in the eternal embrace of wonder. The treasury keeps its silent vigil, a guardian of dreams, a keeper of peace, a reminder that some things are too beautiful for time to touch, too sacred for the world to tarnish, too perfect for anything but grateful reverence. The night stretches endlessly around you, full of possibility, full of peace, full of the quiet joy that comes from witnessing perfection. You are exactly where you belong, in this moment, in this place, under the watchful presence of the treasury, wrapped in moonlight and ancient dreams. Chapter 3. Echoes of Ancient Streets. As you rise from your peaceful rest beside the treasury, a gentle pull draws you deeper into the heart of Petra, beyond the magnificent facade. Ancient streets stretch into the moonlit darkness, carved pathways that once bustled with life, that once echoed with the voices of merchants and pilgrims, but now rest in perfect tranquility, waiting to share their stories with those who walk softly enough to listen. You follow the main street as it curves away from the treasury, your footsteps muffled by centuries of accumulated sand. The path is wide and welcoming, flanked on both sides by the remnants of what were once grand buildings, their carved facades still visible in the silver light, still beautiful despite the passing of 2,000 years. Each doorway, each window, each architectural detail speaks of a time when this was a living city, vibrant and prosperous, filled with the dreams and daily lives of the Nabatean people. The street of facade stretches before you, a gallery of carved wonders that line the ancient thoroughfare. Each tomb, each temple, each dwelling tells its own story through stone. Some facades are simple and elegant, their clean lines speaking of quiet dignity. Others are elaborate and ornate, decorated with columns and pediments, and intricate friezes that catch and hold the moonlight, creating a symphony of shadows and silver that dances before your eyes. You pause before one particularly beautiful facade, its columns still straight and proud after all these centuries. The carved capitals show the influence of many cultures. Egyptian lotus flowers intertwined with Greek acanthus leaves. Roman architectural principles married to Nabatean artistic vision. This was a crossroads city, a place where East met West, where different traditions blended into something entirely new and wonderful. Walking slowly along the ancient street, you can almost hear the echoes of vanished voices, the calls of merchants advertising their wares, the laughter of children playing in the shadows of the carved walls, the gentle conversations of friends meeting in the cool of the evening. The stones beneath your feet have been worn smooth by countless footsteps, each one adding their story to the accumulated history of this sacred place. To your left, a series of smaller streets branch off from the main thoroughfare. Narrow pathways that wind between the carved facades, inviting exploration. You choose one at random, letting your feet guide you into the quiet residential quarters where ordinary people once lived their extraordinary lives. Here the carvings are simpler, more intimate, speaking of families and daily routines, of the small joys and quiet sorrows that make up the fabric of human existence. The moonlight filters down between the canyon walls, creating pools of silver light interspersed with deep shadows. You move through this landscape of light and darkness like a traveler through dreams, each step revealing new wonders, new perspectives on the ancient city. The silence is profound, but not empty, filled with the whispered memories of all who have walked these streets before you. You discover a small plaza, a circular space carved from the living rock, surrounded by what were once shops and gathering places. In the center, a raised platform still shows the marks where a fountain once stood, where fresh water bubbled up from deep springs, bringing life to this desert city. You can almost hear the sound of flowing water, the most precious music in any desert land, the sound that meant life and prosperity and hope. Sitting on the edge of the ancient fountain, you look up at the stars visible through the narrow opening above, the same constellations that guided the caravan routes, that brought traders from distant lands to this remote but prosperous city. The Nabateans were masters of navigation, reading the stars like a familiar book, using their knowledge to build trade routes that spanned continents, to create wealth and culture in the heart of the desert. Around the plaza, doorways lead into chambers carved deep into the rock, some simple and functional, others decorated with the symbols of prosperity and protection. You rise and explore these ancient rooms, feeling the cool air that flows from their depths, air that has been kept pure and clean by the natural ventilation systems carved by master builders who understood how to live comfortably in the desert. In one chamber, you find the remains of carved shelves, storage places for goods that traveled the silk routes, spices from India, silk from China, frankincense from Arabia. This small room once held treasures from across the known world, each item a story of adventure and commerce, of the human drive to explore and trade and share the wonders of distant lands. You continue your wandering through the ancient residential quarter, discovering courtyards where families once gathered in the evening, kitchens where bread was baked and meals shared, workshops where craftsmen created the beautiful pottery and metalwork that made Petra famous throughout the ancient world. Each space speaks of lives fully lived, of communities that thrived in harmony with their desert environment. The street you're following opens onto a larger thoroughfare, what archaeologists call the colonnaded street. Here, the remains of great columns still stand at regular intervals, creating a rhythmic procession that leads the eye toward distant facades. In daylight, this street would have provided welcome shade for travelers and traders. At night, under the moon, it creates a corridor of dreams where past and present merge into timeless beauty. You walk between the columns, your hand occasionally brushing against the weathered stone, feeling the history contained within each carved surface. These columns have stood through conquests and abandonments, through centuries of wind and rain and the slow passage of time, yet they remain testament to the skill of their builders, to the enduring power of human creativity and determination. Along the sides of the colonnaded street, you discover the remains of what were once prosperous shops and businesses. Their fronts open to the street, designed to display goods and welcome customers. You can imagine the bustle of market day, the friendly haggling over prices, the excitement of merchants arriving with new goods from distant lands, the satisfaction of customers finding exactly what they needed in this cosmopolitan desert city. One shop still retains traces of its ancient decoration, geometric patterns carved into the lintel above the doorway, symbols of prosperity and protection that have weathered the centuries with remarkable clarity. You trace these patterns with your finger, connecting across time with the craftsmen who carved them, feeling the same satisfaction in their perfect symmetry, the same joy in creating something beautiful that will outlast the creator. The night air moves gently through the ancient streets, stirring up small whirlwinds of sand that dance in the moonlight before settling back to rest. The sound is barely audible, a soft whisper that might be the wind, or might be the lingering voices of all who have walked these paths. Merchants and pilgrims, priests and kings, ordinary people living extraordinary lives in this extraordinary place. You find yourself at the intersection of several streets, each one leading to different quarters of the ancient city. One path climbs toward the high places where temples were carved into cliff faces. Another descends toward the valley floor where gardens once bloomed. A third winds through residential areas where the wealthy built their elaborate homes. Each direction offers its own discoveries, its own stories waiting to be uncovered, choosing the path that feels most inviting. You continue your nocturnal exploration of Petra, moving through neighborhoods that once housed thousands of people, past fountains that once sparkled with precious water, beyond doorways that once welcomed visitors from across the known world. The city sleeps around you, not dead but resting, waiting for those who have eyes to see and hearts to understand its enduring beauty. The ancient streets hold you in their embrace, guiding your footsteps along paths perfected by centuries of use. Each stone has been placed with purpose, each carving executed with skill and devotion. You are walking through the dreams of ancient architects, the visions of master builders who saw not just a city, but a masterpiece, not just shelter, but a work of art that would inspire wonder for millennia to come. As you wander deeper into the heart of old Petra, you feel the peace that comes from connecting with something larger than yourself, with the accumulated wisdom of generations, with the enduring human capacity to create beauty in the most unlikely places. The ancient streets welcome you, as they have welcomed countless others, offering their silent wisdom, their timeless peace, their eternal reminder that some things are too beautiful for time to destroy. And so you continue your gentle journey through the moonlit streets, each step a prayer, each breath a meditation, each moment a gift from the ancient city that continues to work its magic on all who walk softly enough to hear its whispered secrets. The echoes of ancient voices guide you forward, into deeper mystery, deeper peace, deeper connection with the eternal human spirit that carved paradise from living stone. Chapter 4. Sacred Temples of Sandstone. Following the ancient street as it curves upward into the heart of the sacred quarter, you feel the path beneath your feet growing older, more worn by pilgrimage, more sanctified by centuries of reverent footsteps. The moonlight reveals carved steps leading toward temple complexes that rise like prayers in stone, their facades reaching toward the star-filled sky, each one a masterpiece of devotion carved directly into the living rock of the canyon walls. The first temple you encounter takes your breath away, its facade soaring 3 stories high, carved with such precision and artistry that it seems to float rather than rest upon the earth. The monastery, Ad-Dir, emerges from the cliff face like a vision of divine architecture, its massive doorway crowned with a broken pediment that frames the night sky, creating a window between earth and heaven, between the physical and the eternal. You approach the temple slowly, reverently, feeling the weight of its sacred presence. The facade is even larger than the treasury, yet it achieves a different kind of beauty, less ornate, but somehow more powerful. The simple elegance of its proportions speaks directly to the soul, creating a sense of awe that needs no decoration, no embellishment, only the perfect harmony of stone and space and starlight. At the base of the temple, you discover a stone platform where pilgrims once gathered, where ceremonies were conducted under the open sky. The worn stones speak of countless rituals, countless moments of communion between the faithful and their gods. You sit on the edge of this ancient altar, feeling the cool stone beneath you, looking up at the towering facade that has watched over such gatherings for nearly 2,000 years. The moonlight plays across the carved surface, revealing details that speak of both earthly craftsmanship and divine inspiration. The central doorway yawns dark and mysterious, flanked by pilasters that support an entablature decorated with simple but elegant moldings. Above, the broken pediment creates a crown of shadows and silver light, while the great urn at the apex seems to glow with its own inner radiance. Inside the temple, you can sense rather than see the vast chamber carved from solid rock. The darkness within is not empty, but full, pregnant with the prayers of centuries, with the accumulated devotion of all who have entered seeking wisdom, seeking peace, seeking connection with something greater than themselves. You do not need to enter to feel its power. Its presence extends beyond its physical boundaries, embracing the entire sacred precinct. Moving around to the side of the temple, you discover carved channels that once carried sacred water, libation grooves that allowed ritual offerings to flow back into the earth. These channels catch the moonlight, creating silver lines that seem to pulse with remembered life. You follow one with your finger, tracing its path from the temple wall down into the bedrock, connecting the sacred space with the living stone of the mountain. A narrow path leads upward from the monastery, carved steps that climb toward even higher temples, toward sacred spaces reserved for the most important rituals, the most profound mysteries. You follow this ancient pilgrimage route, your breathing deepening as you climb, your heartbeat slowing to match the timeless rhythm of stone and starlight and sacred purpose. The path brings you to a plateau where several smaller temples cluster together, each one carved with loving attention to detail, each one serving a different aspect of the divine mystery. Here, a temple dedicated to the goddess of fertility, its entrance framed with symbols of abundance and growth. There, a shrine to the god of the desert, its simple facade speaking of endurance and survival in harsh places. You pause at each temple, offering your silent respect, your quiet gratitude for the vision and skill that created these sacred spaces. The builders were not just craftsmen, but artists, not just artists but priests, not just priests but visionaries who saw in the living rock the potential for spaces that could lift the human spirit and connect it with the divine. One temple draws your attention, more than the others. Smaller than the monastery, but somehow more intimate, more personal. Its facade is decorated with carved flowers, with geometric patterns that speak of hidden meanings, with symbols that hint at mysteries known only to initiates. You approach its entrance, feeling the cool air that flows from within, air that carries with it the scent of ancient incense, of prayers offered long ago, but somehow still present. Sitting in the temple's entrance, you look out over the moonlit valley below. From this height, Petra spreads before you like a map of human aspiration. The treasury gleams silver in the distance. The ancient streets wind through the darkness like rivers of dreams. The entire city becomes a mandala, a sacred pattern that speaks of the human desire to create order and beauty and meaning in the midst of the vast indifference of the desert. The silence here is deeper than in the streets below, more profound, more complete. It is the silence of deep meditation, of prayer so pure it needs no words, of communion with the eternal that transcends all language. You feel your own breathing slow, your thoughts quiet, your spirit aligned with the sacred purpose that permeates this holy place. Behind you, the temple chamber extends into darkness, carved from solid rock by hands that worked with both chisel and prayer. You can sense the presence of ancient altars, of carved niches where sacred objects were kept, of spaces designed not just for ceremony, but for transformation, for the kind of spiritual experience that changes a person forever, that opens doors in the soul that can never be closed. The stars above seem brighter here, closer, more accessible, as if the act of carving these temples, of creating these sacred spaces, has somehow thinned the veil between earth and heaven. You feel connected not just to the ancient builders, but to the cosmic forces they sought to honor, to the same divine inspiration that moved them to create beauty that would last for millennia. A gentle breeze stirs the air around you, carrying with it the subtle fragrance of desert flowers that bloom only at night, only in the presence of moonlight and starlight, and the kind of profound peace that settles over sacred places when the world sleeps. You breathe deeply, drawing this blessed air into your lungs, feeling it cleanse and purify and prepare you for deeper mysteries. From your position in the temple entrance, you can see other sacred sites scattered throughout the canyon. The high place of sacrifice on a distant ridge, its altar still visible against the stars. The garden temple, with its carved channels still gleaming in the moonlight. The tomb of the Roman soldier standing sentinel over the valley, each one a prayer in stone, each one a testament to the human capacity for reverence and wonder. You rise and continue your exploration of the sacred quarter, following paths that wind between temple complexes, past carved water basins that once held ritual purification, beyond altars where offerings were made to ensure the prosperity of the city. Every step takes you deeper into the spiritual heart of Petra, deeper into the mystery of how human hands can create spaces that touch the divine. One path leads to a temple facade that seems to grow directly from the cliff face, so perfectly integrated with the natural rock that it appears more discovered than created. The Corinthian tomb rises before you, its elaborate facade a symphony of carved details, columns and capitals and pediments all working together to create something that is both monument and prayer, both art and architecture and pure spiritual expression. You spend long minutes contemplating each carved element, each flower and leaf and geometric pattern, each figure that guards the sacred space. The artisans who created this masterpiece worked not just with skill, but with devotion. Each chisel stroke an act of worship. Each completed detail an offering to the gods they sought to honor. Their faith is preserved in stone. Their prayers made manifest in sandstone and moonlight. As the night deepens around you, you feel the temples beginning to work their ancient magic, drawing your spirit into alignment with their sacred purpose. You are no longer just a visitor, but a participant. No longer just an observer, but a pilgrim. The sacred spaces embrace you, welcome you, invite you to experience the same sense of wonder and reverence that moved their builders to create such beauty. The sandstone temples stand eternal around you, guardians of dreams, keepers of faith, reminders that the human spirit can create doorways to the divine, that vision and skill and devotion can transform raw stone into spaces that lift the soul and quiet the mind and open the heart to infinite possibility. You rest in their sacred presence, surrounded by beauty, bathed in moonlight, held in the eternal embrace of reverence made manifest in living stone. Chapter 5. The Desert Sky Above Petra. As your journey through the sacred temples reaches its gentle conclusion, you find yourself drawn upward, following a narrow path that climbs toward the high places, toward the rim of the canyon, where the ancient city meets the infinite expanse of the desert sky. Your feet find their way along worn stone steps, carved handholds guiding you safely upward, toward a vantage point where earth touches heaven, where the wonders of human creation merge with the eternal beauty of the natural world. The path winds gradually upward, never steep enough to strain, always gentle enough to allow for contemplation, for the slow building of anticipation. Each step takes you higher above the moonlit city, revealing new perspectives on the temples and facades below, showing you how the ancient builders chose their sites with perfect understanding of how each structure would relate to the whole, how each carved wonder would contribute to the greater symphony of stone and space and starlight. As you climb, the air grows cooler, cleaner, tinged with the vast openness of the desert that stretches beyond the protective walls of the canyon. You pause occasionally to look back, to see how Petra transforms from this growing height, becoming a collection of jewels scattered across the canyon floor, each one catching and reflecting the silver light of the moon, each one a testament to human vision and divine inspiration working in perfect harmony. The path leads to a broad plateau, a natural balcony carved by wind and time from the living rock. From here, the entire sweep of Petra lies before you, but your attention is drawn inexorably upward, to the vast dome of sky that stretches from horizon to horizon, unmarked by clouds, unpolluted by artificial light, pure and clear and filled with more stars than you have ever seen in your life. You find a comfortable place to rest on the warm stone, still holding the heat of the day despite the cool night air. Leaning back, you let your gaze travel slowly across the celestial tapestry spread above you. The Milky Way flows like a river of light from one edge of the sky to the other, its individual stars so numerous they seem to blend into a luminous cloud, a bridge of diamonds connecting Earth to the infinite reaches of space. Here, in this place of perfect darkness, far from the glow of cities, the stars shine with a brilliance that takes your breath away. Constellations tell their ancient stories across the heavens, the same patterns that guided the Nabatean traders along their desert routes, the same celestial markers that helped them navigate the vast emptiness between oasis and oasis, between known and unknown, between home and adventure. The moon, now beginning its descent toward the western horizon, bathes the desert landscape in silver light, revealing the rolling dunes that stretch endlessly beyond the canyon walls. This is the desert that cradled Petra, that protected it, that made it precious by its very harshness. You can see the ancient caravan routes marked by lines of darker stone, paths worn smooth by countless camel trains carrying frankincense and myrrh, silk and spices, dreams and hopes across the vast emptiness. A gentle wind rises from the desert, carrying with it the scent of sage and wild thyme, the clean smell of sand and stone and infinite space. It moves across your face like a blessing, like the breath of the desert itself welcoming you to this high place, this sacred vantage point where pilgrims have come for centuries to contemplate the vastness of creation, the smallness of human concerns, the eternal dance between earth and sky. Below you, Petra sleeps in perfect tranquility, its carved facades glowing softly in the moonlight. The treasury stands like a guardian at the mouth of the sick, while the monastery rises majestically on its distant cliff, each temple, each tomb, each dwelling carved from living rock, appears as a point of gentle light, a star fallen to earth, a prayer made manifest in sandstone and shadow. You close your eyes for a moment, listening to the profound silence that surrounds you. It is not the absence of sound, but the presence of peace, the deep quiet that comes when the soul touches something larger than itself. When you open your eyes, the stars seem even brighter, even closer, as if your moment of meditation has cleared away some invisible veil, allowing you to see more clearly the infinite beauty that surrounds you. The constellation of Orion stands directly overhead, his belt of 3 bright stars pointing the way toward distant suns, toward worlds beyond imagining. The ancient Arabs called him Al-Jawza, the central one, and from this desert vantage point you understand why. He seems to occupy the very center of the sky, the axis around which all other stars revolve, the eternal hunter keeping watch over the sleeping world below. To the north, the Great Bear traces its familiar pattern, while to the south, the Southern Cross marks directions unknown to northern eyes. Each constellation tells its story. Each star contributes its voice to the cosmic chorus that has been singing since time began. You feel yourself becoming part of that chorus, your own small light adding to the vast symphony of existence. The desert wind continues to flow around you, sometimes stronger, sometimes gentler, but always present, always alive with the essence of vast spaces and infinite horizons. It carries whispers from distant places, from oases hidden deep in the sand, from mountain peaks that pierce the sky like fingers reaching toward heaven, from ancient sites where other pilgrims sit in wonder beneath the same eternal stars. As you rest in this high place, you begin to understand something profound about Petra, about why the ancient people chose this spot, why they devoted their lives to carving beauty from stone. It was not just about creating shelter or monuments or even temples. It was about creating a bridge, a connection point between the human world and the divine, between the temporary and the eternal, between earth and sky. The city below exists in perfect harmony with the desert that surrounds it, carved from the same stone, colored by the same minerals, shaped by the same forces of wind and water that sculpted the endless landscape beyond. Petra does not impose itself upon the desert. It emerges from it, grows from it, belongs to it as naturally as the stars belong to the sky. You shift your position slightly, finding an even more comfortable place on the sun-warmed stone. The rock beneath you has been shaped by countless pilgrims who have sat in this same spot, worn smooth by generations of seekers, drawn to contemplate the mystery of existence from this perfect vantage point. You become part of that tradition, adding your own peaceful presence to the accumulated meditation of centuries. The moon continues its stately journey across the star-filled sky, its light creating new patterns of shadow and illumination on the desert floor below. Sand dunes shift and flow like frozen waves, their crests sharp as knife edges, their valleys soft as silk. The interplay of light and darkness creates a landscape that seems to breathe, to pulse with the slow rhythm of geological time. Somewhere in the distance, a night bird calls, its voice carrying clearly across the vast emptiness. The sound is both lonely and comforting, a reminder that life persists even in the harshest places, that beauty can flourish wherever there is water, wherever there is hope, wherever there are hearts open enough to recognize and cherish it. The stars above seem to pulse with their own gentle rhythm, breathing light across the cosmos in patterns too vast for human comprehension. Yet somehow, from this desert plateau, with Petra sleeping peacefully below and infinity stretching endlessly above, you feel connected to it all, part of the same great mystery that links grain of sand to distant galaxy, human heart to stellar fire. You begin to notice shooting stars, meteors tracing brief silver lines across the darkness before vanishing into memory. Each one is like a blessing, a cosmic gift, a reminder that the universe is alive and dynamic, and full of surprises for those who take time to watch, to wait, to open themselves to wonder. The ancient people would have seen these same celestial visitors, made wishes on them, seen them as messages from the gods. The wine shifts slightly, bringing new scents from the desert, the mineral smell of stone heated by day and cooled by night, the green scent of hidden springs where palm trees grow in secret oases, the wild fragrance of desert flowers that bloom only in darkness, only when the harsh sun cannot steal their precious moisture. Each breath connects you more deeply to this place, to this moment, to this perfect peace. Below, the ancient city continues its patient vigil. Carved guardians watching over empty streets. Temple facades glowing softly in the starlight. The entire complex seems to breathe with the slow rhythm of stone, inhaling starlight, exhaling dreams, maintaining its eternal meditation on beauty and transcendence, and the human capacity to create meaning in the midst of vastness. As the night deepens around you, you feel your own breathing synchronize with the pulse of the desert, with the rotation of the earth, with the ancient rhythm that connects all things. Your heartbeat slows to match the timeless tempo of stone and star and infinite space. You become part of the eternal dance, no longer separate from the beauty that surrounds you, but woven into its very fabric. The desert sky above Petra holds you in its infinite embrace, cradles you in starlight and moonbeams and the gentle caress of wind that has traveled across thousands of miles to reach this perfect moment. You are exactly where you belong, in this place where earth meets heaven, where human dreams touch divine reality, where the finite and infinite merge in perfect harmony. And so you rest in this high place, surrounded by beauty to vast for words, held by peace to deep for understanding, blessed by a silence too profound for anything but grateful wonder. The desert sky continues its eternal watch. The stars pursue their ancient courses, and you, small but precious, temporary but eternal, become part of the great mystery that connects all things in love and light and infinite possibility. The gentle wind carries whispers of ancient wisdom, the stars offer their silent blessings, and Petra sleeps peacefully below, carved dreams resting in moonlight, waiting to welcome new pilgrims, new seekers, new hearts ready to discover that heaven and earth are never really separate, never truly apart, but united always in the sacred space where wonder lives, where beauty dwells, where peace makes its eternal home. Your eyes grow heavy with the perfect contentment that comes from witnessing perfection, from touching the infinite, from finding your place in the vast and beautiful tapestry of existence. The desert wind whispers lullabies older than civilization. The stars sing silent songs of light and love. And you, blessed pilgrim, fortunate wanderer, beloved child of the cosmos, drift gently into dreams filled with sandstone and starlight, with ancient wisdom and eternal peace, with the quiet joy that comes from knowing, truly knowing, that you are home.